Hey guys, it's Mike Man WBA here, back again with episode number 31 of the Can't Stop Progress series. We are here with chapter 68, a chapter that I haven't given a subtitle to, and I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, so hopefully something happens during the show that'll be really exciting and will be the name for the episode, because otherwise I'm going to have to think really hard. But as you can see, we have a bumper show for you today with a little pre-show match as well, just to sort of get as many people as possible on. We have a couple of people annoyed that they're missing out on shows, so not to over-cram the card, but we're trying to use as many people as we can get away with. But let's get straight into the show. We're in front of a sold-out 3,100 people in Alexandra Palace. We kick off with a little pre-show match where War Machine defeat Bowler Armour in 9 minutes and 43 seconds when Raymond Rowe of War Machine defeats Lloyd Cat by pinfall with a death row. Both members of War Machine showed excellent chemistry when teaming together. Unfortunately, one of Bowler Armour has picked up a strained wrist, Lloyd Cat getting the injury there. Splits McPins getting an in-ring performance of 39, Lloyd Cat a 35, Raymond Rowe a 43 and Hanson a 47. Lloyd Cat improving his performance skills, and we kick off the show with a 44D pre-show match, so not too bad, and we get that one little improvement as well, which is a nice way to kick us off. Following that, as always, Jim Smallman doing his sort of hype man duties, welcoming the crowd to chapter 68, getting us a 35E+. No work improvements, like always, but Jim kicking us off and getting everyone hyped and ready for the show. We're in our first match, Jordan Devlin continuing on with his work from OTT, where he is the import killer, defeats Mike Bailey in 13 minutes and 9 seconds with a moonsault. Mike Bailey unfortunately really off his game, but Jordan Devlin getting an in-ring performance of 51 to Mike Bailey's 37, so not a bad rating for Mike Bailey, considering that he was really off his game. If he wasn't, that would be getting mid-40s to high 40s, I think. No work improvements unfortunately, but a 47D is not a bad way to kick off the show. And hopefully, if we ever bring Mike Bailey in again, he will do better than a 37. Following on from that, we have our women's title match near the start of the show this time, just to give the crowd a bit of a boost and to get everyone excited. And in a bout that had decent wrestling but not a lot of heat, Laura Di Matteo defeats Kaylee Ray in 14 minutes and 10 seconds by submission. Laura Di Matteo making defence number 4 of her Progress Women's title. Kaylee Ray getting in-ring performance of 39 to Laura's 46. No worker improvements unfortunately, and a 47D match rating. Not as good as Laura can do, but not too bad, to be perfectly honest. And it's nice to see that we're at the point where our women's matches can go for 14-15 minutes rather than having to be 9 or 10 like they have to sometimes. Just the fact that their stats have improved to the point where they have the stamina and the skills and the psychology to make it that far, and the overness as well to be able to put on decent ratings over a longer time period. But following that women's match, we have a little angle with Mr. Regal, who announces stipulations to gain our number 1 contendership for the Progress Tag, not the Progress Tag titles, for the Progress Championship, currently held by Mark Haskins, of course, who will be facing Adam Cole later on in the show, and for the Tag Team Championships currently held by British Strong Style. We will have a number 1 contenders match for that later on in the show as well. Is it British Strong Style? Now I mention British Strong Style, I feel like it's not British Strong Style, but I think it's British Strong Style. We'll find out in a bit. It's been a while since I did this, and my brain isn't working today. But a lovely 90A rating there for Regal. As you see here, a couple of people on commentary not doing great, but we will come to that in a minute. No worker improvements, unfortunately, from that angle, but a 90A to find our number 1 contenders. And that first number 1 contendership match is up next, where Steven Regal has picked 15 people backstage to participate in a battle royal to become the number 1 contender to the Progress Championship at Chapter 69. And that person will be Jack Sexsmith, who beats Chuck Mambo, Damien Dunn, Dan Maloney, Dave Mastiff, Drew Parker, James Davis, James Drake, Martin Kirby, Morgan Webster, Nathan Cruz, Roy Johnson, Sam Bailey, TK Cooper and William Eva in a battle royal, a 15-man battle royal in 13 minutes and 31 seconds. The other members of the final 4 being Dave Mastiff, Morgan Webster and James Davis, with Mastiff being the final elimination, Sexsmith getting the most eliminations over the course of the match. So Mastiff unfortunately sustaining a strained bicep, Nathan Cruz sustaining an iliolumbar ligament sprain unfortunately, and Sexsmith and Eva off their games. Not the greatest. It's never nice to see someone injured, especially 2 people in the same match. But Jack Sexsmith overcoming the odds. There's some big guys in that match, especially Mastiff, who was the final elimination. But he's become the number 1 contender for the Progress Championship, and that match will be at Chapter 69. I mean, if Jack Sexsmith's going to win the championship anywhere, it's going to be at Chapter 69, isn't it? So unfortunately Mastiff and Cruz injured, but hopefully they won't be too long out. No worker improvements unfortunately from the Rumble, but a 50D plus isn't too bad for a match of that type. And we go on to our next segment as we see the injuries, where in an exciting match, I think in real life, Ricochet defeats Lewis Gervin, Leo Rush and Jay White in 14 minutes and 26, when Ricochet defeats Leo Rush by pinfall with a diving double knee drop. Jay White with a 54, Lewis Gervin a 61, Leo Rush a 63 and Ricochet a 46. It's crazy to think that of all the people to be getting the lowest rating in this match, it is the veteran. I mean, he's still young, but the veteran King Ricochet, king of the cruiserweights. I think Neville might have an argument against him there, but King Ricochet picking up the win, and also the lowest in-ring performance, which you wouldn't expect, especially, mind you, we're over a year in, almost 18 months in at this point. In fact, exactly 18 months in at this point, and we have been able to give a push to Gervin and Rush and improve those stats tremendously because they are so young. But Ricochet getting such a low performance compared to them is surprising. But still picking up the win in a 61C rated match, which is not bad at all. Not for any particular consequences for this match. There's like no contendership on the line or anything. Just because I wanted to see 4 great high flyers have a great match. Following that, we have an angle. Jim Smallman comes back after the interval, wants to make a little announcement. People may have noticed Jimmy Havoc earlier on commentary, and that is because he's back from his injury. He was out for 15 months with a terrible, terrible back injury, and unfortunately the day he came back he decided that he couldn't wrestle anymore and he has retired. And as such, Jim announces the creation of the Progress Hall of Fame, and that the first member will be new commentator and former Progress champion Jimmy Havoc. Following on from that, we have our tag team number 1 contenders match. CCK asking for another match to prove that they've still got it, but unfortunately coming up short against Polo Promotions in 12 minutes and 43 seconds when Mark Coffey defeats Chris Brooks by pinfall with a crowning glory. Kid Lycos with an in-ring performance of 51, Chris Brooks with a 40, Mark Coffey with a 43, and Jackie Polo with a 41. Polo improving his rumble skills and getting a match rating of 50D+, which isn't too bad. So Polo Promotions are your new number 1 contenders to the Progress Tag Team Championships. Following on from that, we have another exciting 6-man match, which isn't for any particular reason. No contendership on the line. Maybe in the future, maybe chapter 70 or something. But in about that, had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Tyler Bate defeats Mark Andrews, Marty Scurll, Travis Banks, Axel Dieter Jr. and Zack Sabre Jr. in 15 minutes and 55 seconds, when Tyler Bate defeats Axel Dieter Jr. by pinfall with a Tyler Driver 97. In terms of his in-ring work, Zack Sabre Jr. was head and shoulders above the rest of the match. Unfortunately, Tyler Bate sustained a pronator tears. He suffered an injury, a syndrome it is. I said indrome because I read that at the same time. He sustained pronator teres syndrome is how I'm going to say it. So that doesn't seem good. Hopefully it's not too bad. But Axel Dieter Jr. with an in-ring performance of 53, Mark Andrews with a 50, Marty Scurll with a 65, Travis Banks with a 66, Tyler Bate with a 60, and Zack Sabre Jr. with an in-ring performance of 76, rounding us off. No worker improvements unfortunately, but a 71 C+ match rating is phenomenal. One of the best matches of the series, I think. And Zack Sabre Jr. again proving why he is one of the best technical wrestlers in the world, getting a 76 in-ring performance. Following on from that, we have another angle. Steven Regal is out again, and before this Atlas Championship match, he would like to announce that all members of Polo Promotions and all members of Ring Camp will be banned from ringside for this match. Anybody that comes down to ringside will be assumed to be a member of those two stables and will be immediately fired from the company if they come to ringside. So everyone banned. So straight one-on-one between Joe Coffey and Volta, no interference. And in a decent match, Joe Coffey does pick up the win, defeating Volta in 10 minutes and 37 seconds by pinfall with a discus lariat, and Joe Coffey makes defence number 1 of his Progress Atlas Championship. Joe Coffey with an in-ring performance of 56, Volta with a 41. Unfortunately, no work improvements, but a 54 C- match rating is very impressive indeed. And Joe Coffey continuing on with his second run with the Atlas Championship. Following on from that, we have another title match where, in a decent match, British Strong Style Clint Margera and Trent Seven defeat the Hunter brothers Jim and Lee in 14 minutes and 32 seconds, when Clint Margera defeats Lee Hunter by pinfall, and enabling British Strong Style to make defence number 5 of their Progress Tag Team titles. Unfortunately, Jim Hunter was really off his game, getting a 42, his brother getting a 50, Clint Margera a 49, and Trent Seven a 54. A lot of work improvements here, which is nice to see, with Trent and Clint both improving their performance skills, and Lee Hunter improving in his technical skills, giving us a 53 C- match rating overall, which is great to see. Unfortunately, if Jim wasn't off his game, that might have been up to a 55-56, but a great match for the tag team titles, with British Strong Style coming out on top. And following that, in the lead up to the main event, Mark Haskins coming out for his entrance when Adam Cole attacks him. I would say from behind, but the champion always comes out first. So it's just as he's come into the ring, Adam Cole attacking him, getting an advantage. A 71 C+ angle there, which is great. Probably one of our best non-regal angles we've got. And then in the main event, In a decent match, Mark Haskins defeats Adam Cole in 17 minutes and 43 seconds by pinfall, and Mark Haskins makes defence number 1 of his Progress World Championship. Unfortunately, they don't click, and it showed in their performances. Adam Cole getting a 51 to Mark Haskins 58, but the match still getting a 58 C- overall, which isn't too bad considering they didn't click. If they did, that would have been a phenomenal match. And we end the show with a 64C show rating, which is brilliant, great to see. Show increasing our popularity in 45 regions, and I don't think we can complain about anything there except maybe the couple of little nagging injuries that we got. So we're going to congratulate Zack Sabre Jr., I think Joe Coffey, and also Jack Sexsmith for their performances. Actually, not Jack Sexsmith because he was off his game, unfortunately. So let's make it... Let's go with Clint. I don't think we've given Clint compliments before. So Zack Sabre Jr., Joe Coffey and Clint Margera, all pleased with their praise. And we'll have a quick look at those injuries to see how long they are for. As we see here, Tyler Bate he'll be able to work through it, the current NXT champion. They'll be able to work through that injury, so that's not too bad. Nathan Cruz is out of action, but only for 6 days, so not too bad. He'll be back for the next show if we need him. Dave Mastiff will be able to work through his strained bicep, which is fine. And Lloyd Catt will be able to work through his strained wrist. So very lucky there. 4 injuries, none of them too bad. As Matt Cross has left AIW, Mike Bailey has left Progress, and Cedric Alexander has extended his deal with the WWE. We got a 15.72 TV rating for our show, which is phenomenal to see. As we have a quick look here, feedback has been that the show was awesome, which is nice to see. That's not what I wanted to click on though. So 157,290 viewers on Pivot Share, which is always nice. We've sold out Alexandra. We've outgrown Alexandra Palace tremendously already. We're getting about 5,000 projected attendance per show, but I want to try and keep up the whole premise of Progress being in these types of venues. I could improve the increase the attendance that we're getting, but I don't want to ruin the atmosphere that we get. But that is all for this episode, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon for chapter number 69, where Jack Sexsmith will be taking on Mark Haskins in the final for the Progress World Championship. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.